Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. You know, I think there will come a point when people will look back upon the movies made in this era, and they'll seriously ask themselves, why was Peter Dinklage cast in so many movies? Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. Short little preamble, I suppose. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Send me any amount of money through Cash App. $1 at minimum. Send me money to Cash App. Hashtag Shock Monkey Radio. I'll send you a sticker pack as supplies last. I covered it last week. You can follow me on social media over here. I've been trying to make some images for the Zazzle store, and so I've been trying to get AI to do some images, and sometimes I'm just like, what's going on here? What is that? What's going on with that? You know, it's AI. Now imagine you hired an artist to do this image, right? And he's like, okay, what I'll do is I'll have this red cloud stuff down at the bottom, and that'll give the hint that maybe there's something mysterious or dangerous lurking beneath. And then I'll put in all the squiggly electricity lines. Did a good job with the monkey. Looks pretty close, right? Pretty good job with that. And then it's like, okay, I got to make the smaller letters. All right, we'll save the S, M, and the R for last. And we measure all these out, make sure they're all the same width and height and so forth. And those look really good. It's like I got the M done well, I got the S done well, and I'm going to start working on the R. And then he goes, I'm going to do this in the R. I got that. Then I've got to right about here. And then somebody came in the room and hit him in the head with a frying pan and donk. And they stopped. He looked at it and said, that's done. Handed it to the guy at Grok who handed it to me. I don't know why AI has such a problem with lettering. I mean, if you look at those images I did for like Mad Men Appreciation Month, you're like, why is every single appreciation spelled weird? You know, why is the lettering so weird? It's like one of the easiest aspects of art is to do lettering correctly.
Computers can't do magic.
Computers can't do magic? Okay.
Words are magic.
Words are magic. Okay, I guess we can leave it at that. Speaking of screwing up AI, I did this picture. I was having fun. I was drinking beer, watching a movie, and we'll get to the movie. And I was playing with AI, and I did this thing. It was like, I want to do like something political humor that wouldn't be offensive about everything that's going on in the news lately. And so I said, imagine I got my time machine working, and I went to the year 2033, and I snuck out, and I found this. I ended up at 2033, January 21st. 2033, and I'm looking around. I'm inside my house in the future, and someone left a TV on, so I snapped a picture. You can bring that up of what was on the TV, and you can see Inauguration Day. And the bigger headline is the fact that Musk moved to Mars. Colony, I guess that's colony. Is it Selony? Upgrading and expanding. What's wrong with that X? See what I mean? You know how many times I had to run this through Grok just to get it that close? You can't use magic. But Al Yankovic sworn in as president. Maybe that's why Musk went to Mars. It's like, this is getting too silly.
That's the line.
Yeah.
That's the line.
What's the
polka?
Polka? Polka? It's like, I can't stand the polka. I got to get to Mars. And the first law of the Republic, or the Kingdom of Mars.
No accordions.
No accordions. No polka music allowed. And then you got it like a Footloose movie. You got a setting for a new Footloose movie right there. You can't work magic like we can, AI. You can't work magic like we can. Yeah. Something happened to me. You can take President Yankovic away. But what I did on Friday is, like, I was feeling a little squirrely. I went to one of those Virginia Lottery ATM machines and stuff like that. Dumped $20 into it and got like two $10 tickets. And I scratched. One of them was a loser. One of them won me another 20. And I was like, screw it. I just kept pushing my chips back into the back into the middle. You know what I'm saying? I went and got, the next day on Saturday, I went and got another 2 cards because I won 20 and I got another 2 $10 cards. And I won 50 on one of those. So I was like, well, I could just take this 50 and that's profit right there. I'm a winner. Or I could just keep going and shoving stuff back in the middle because, so I went and got 5 more $10 cards, scratchers. See if we can finance a new future for us in FXBG Public Radio. Because I want to see how it's going to play out. I can't really play the casino game anymore. I have to keep reloading the drivers on my video card. I mean, when you play these online games, they're constantly updating, and my video card isn't. So I got to stop playing the casino game. So I may have to go start do some real world gambling now. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'll let you know how that plays out. Because I have some good news. I got into the Sinister 6. Finally came in. The paperwork came in. I can finally talk about it. I'm a part of the Sinister 6 now. I was talking to Dr. Octopus. We had a real nice conversation about this and stuff like that. He said he'd been following me on the subreddit. See, you have to be smart enough to understand how the Sinister 6 works to find their special subreddit. And so I went in on the subreddit and I just started ranting about like Spider-Man and how much I hate him, and particularly the spider clones. I don't like all the spider clones. And so Doc Ock and I were talking. He's like, you got this YouTube channel. It's like, well, you can talk about why, make the Sinister 6 seem more relatable and understandable. Because I think he would read those essays. Doc Ock was reading my essays about why I hate, the Ghost Spider and the Indian Spider-Man and stuff like that. It's like, you're really good. You really solidified your thoughts about why you hate all this stuff. And there's one particular rant I did about the symbiotes. And he's like, you nailed it. You nailed it, like right to the heart of the issue. It's not necessarily Spider-Man. It's all the other spider people. One Spider-Man, like if you ask Spider Slayer, J. Jonah Jameson, if you ask him, it's like, is Spider-Man a menace? It's like, yeah. What about like Venom, Carnage, and all these other symbiotes and stuff like that? He's like, oh, that's even worse. And it's like, I agree. So let's be honest. Spider-Man wasn't really the menace. The menace was anyway. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this. There's more than 6 of us. I don't know if you remember like Kill Bill where they had the crazy 88s. There wasn't exactly 88 of them. All right. There's more people in the Sinister 6 than just 6. All right. However, we do when we meet in public, we do in groups of 6. We can't have more than that. It's like a publicity thing. The PR department said anyway. And so talking to Doc Ock about this, and so he said you should tell about it on the show. What you said about symbiote Spider-Man, how it's like really the beginning of the end. That really turned you to the Sinister 6 was what happened to Spider-Man on Battleworld. Was it Battleworld? In the Secret Wars, where he got the strange new costume. Let's talk about symbiote Spider-Man, where all the trouble began. You got that other pick? Yeah. So what's funny is like Doc Ock said, is like, I had no idea. I had no idea what was happening to Spider-Man because I had my own problems on Battleworld, and so when we get back home, and then all of a sudden there's these weird pictures of Spider-Man coming out with this new black costume. We're like, and he's acting strangely, and we're like, what is going on with Spider-Man? And it turns out it's the beginning of the end. It was an alien symbiote that like would take over his body when he was sleeping. And it absorbed his spider powers and then reproduced and reproduced and reproduced and reproduced and reproduced. And then it's nothing but spider-like menaces running all over the world. And I'm going to get to non-symbiote spider people that I hate. Don't worry. Doc Ock said I should like make this a recurring theme for a while. He wants to he's like uplift the genius of the Sinister 6 and show why we dislike Spider-Man and Spider-Man and all spider people. So I can understand that. So I'll just doing a shout out. I'm so glad to be a part of the Sinister 6 now. It's they're going to send me my badge in the mail. It's great. It feels good. It feels good to be a part of something larger than yourself, for a good cause. I've been playing Marvel Strike Force a lot, and boy, do I hate the spider people. All right, let's talk about Tinder for a second. Did you hear that Tinder was a? Are you bored over there? No? Okay. I say you can scratch one of these tickets if you want. If you're looking bored. You hear about Tinder? They put in these new filters for women where they can screen out guys by height. And so every single one of these chicks is like, I don't date guys under 6'3". They could put that in their thing and they won't even look at anyone under that. I'm 5'11", you know. I'm like the guy who's like affected the most by this. No offense to guys who are 5'5", but I kind of get. Oh, no. Now you're very attentive.
Despite my constant requests, they still won't add cup size.
They will. Yeah, weight should be a slider. That's the best argument I heard. You know, if women get a height thing slider, so I don't want to screen. I want to screen certain women under a certain weight. They're like, oh no, that's wrong. You know, and here's the funny thing: is like there's so many ridiculous standards women have when it comes to like on these dating sites. It's like won't date anybody under 6'3" and she's 4'11". You know, it makes no frickin' sense. You know, and it's almost like dating a 6'3" guy is more about telling all the other girls that you got a guy who's 6'3". It seems like that's the point. You know, women like are competitive in that way. It's weird. And here's the thing. I am never going to fall in love. I am never going to fall in love. I could have just put a period at the end of that. I am never going to fall in love until some woman comes over to grandma's house, hangs out in the basement with me, drinking and smoking and watching YouTube videos with me. It's never going to happen. For either of us, babe, whoever you are. It's never going to happen unless you come on over to grandma's house and meet my mom. And then we can go downstairs and do whatever we want. My mom doesn't care if I get laid. She'd probably ask us, are you guys going to have sex down there? Please do. Please have sex with my son. Because my mom's like that, okay? And if you're going to get involved in my life, you're going to have to meet my mom. I'm sorry. You're going to have to meet my dad. You're going to have to meet my sister. All right. You're going to have to like sitting, drinking beer and watching goofy YouTube videos with me. And, you know, there's so many like female profiles out there that you see that they're like, I don't want any part of that. I don't want, and you know, you live with your mom? No. You have a lot of ridiculous standards and you need to lighten up, ladies. You're going to ruin society. You know, I got kicked off Tinder, right? Did I tell you? Did I tell you that I got kicked off Tinder? Yeah, I got a survey. And they asked me, it's like, how do you like your Tinder experience? And it's a pretty in-depth survey. And I'm going through like 6 pages of questions. And a couple of them I given like typing in answers like dislike, hate this service. Is like, can't believe anyone has any success on this service. And then could you, in this tech space, could you type out a reason why? And it's like, yeah, I've been using this for years. Never got one like, never got one swipe right, never met anybody, never actually got a date. Your service is terrible. And so they, canceled my account, kicked me out, said you can't come back. And I said, well, I guess you're not going to keep my survey results either, because that's probably why they did it. It's like, oh, you're making our service look bad because it's not designed for men at all, and women are too fastidious for the internet. I guarantee you because every single one of them, they all think they deserve a Channing Tatum looking guy who doesn't live with his mom, who makes, 6 figures. They all think they're going to get a guy like that. And it's absurd. Your standards are way too crazy high. Anyway. I'm just mad. See, I passed the G.I. Joe phase and now I want to get laid. So my midlife crisis is progressing. Now I just want to bang some chicks. So, do you shave with a blade?
Sometimes.
Okay. I was shaving yesterday. I took a shave yesterday, and maybe it's just my bad habit of overthinking things, thinking about stuff too much. But I was sitting there, I put the shaving cream in my hand, and it was like, I was fascinated. It's like, what the hell is this stuff? And I lather it up, put it on my face, and I shave and everything like that. Well, I mean, I lathered it up, put it on my face, and then I looked down at my hands, and it's like, I feel like there's like 4 times as much shaving cream as I put out of the can. Because it was just a little dollop of shaving cream. and it expands. You know, it gets wet and it expands. It gets bigger and bigger, and you're like, what sort of magical substance is this? And so maybe I was still hungover, but I mean, I was thinking about it way too hard. It's like, and then, you know, I feel like I'm rinsing more off my hands than I am my face. That's how I shave. I'm still and I'm in the shower thinking about it. It's like, who invented this? What is this? And then I go to work, and then I'm sitting there like with a break on the phone. It's like, what is in shaving cream? And it's soap. Believe it or not, there's soap, there's oil, there's some chemical propellants, you know, and the oils are used to bond to the beard and to soften the skin. And the soap is so concentrated that when it comes in contact with air or water, just a little bit, it expands like crazy. Somebody invented that. I couldn't have come up with that. I think about the time, like my dad growing up, his shaving thing, you get the little soap brick and you put it inside like a coffee mug. You put hot water in it and you get a little brush and you get up a lather and. But some guy says, screw that. I'm going to make a little thing where you just go, and it's like endless soap supply. I don't know. It's like I'm impressed with the ingenuity of humanity. And I guarantee it was a white man who came up with that. I don't know why I group these two segments together. I think it's because, it looks like a pile of shaving cream. Dr. Demento. That's why. I was thinking about colonizing India. I was actually talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. When Britain started colonizing India, it's like they looked around and like, by Jove, they let these cows do whatever the hell they want. The cow poops in the street, the sacred cow poops in the street, the human poops in the street. Manfred, yes, sir, what is it, sir? Can you believe these people are shit in the streets? I cannot, sir. Have you found out who's in charge? Well, we found these Rajas. We found these rich people. Have you seen them shit in the street? Not yet. Not yet, sir. So they go and talk to these rich people, and they're like, hey, you know, this is kind of a mess here. What we're going to do is, because we're nice guys, and we like you, and plus you got a bunch of resources here we're very interested in, we're going to help bring what is called sanitation to your country. We're going to bring water from rivers up high, you know, in the mountains, and then we're going to bring it down with aqueducts into the city, so we have clean flowing water into your city, so maybe you could quit shitting on the streets and shit, like, you know, just saying. And maybe you should do something with the cows, but they're talking to these Rajas, and the Rajas is like, no, the cows, we're not budging on the cow issue. We are not moving. You leave the cows alone. I was like, all right. And they got to talk to these guys. They got to make a deal so they can bring sanitation to these people who are pooping in the streets, pooping in the rivers, washing their clothes and their food in the same rivers they're pooping in. You know what I mean? And they come out of the talking to the Raj, and the officers are, sir, how'd it go in there? It's like, not good. The cows are apparently off the table. Why are the cows of all things off the table? I don't know. Did they mention anything else about the blue-skinned people? Or the elephant god? These people are backwards, but their culture is fascinating. Indeed. Fascinating, but backwards. So England comes and brings all, you know, sanitation, aqueducts, and fresh water into these things. Now go to India today. They're still shitting in the streets. They're still shitting in the river. They're still washing the clothes in that river. You know, it's when a culture or a society innovates something, the whole culture has to experience the problem that gets to that point. For example, electric vehicles. It was American ingenuity and American compassion for the environment that led to the development of electric vehicles to the point where they are today. All right. I don't want one. I don't think people should have one. I think internal combustion engines is going to be, you're going to need that. You're going to need that no matter what. But that technology was developed because of a need that Western society perceived that we needed. And so you can give these electric vehicles to people in the third world, but, you know, they don't have the infrastructure for it. You know, they don't have the society for it. May not know how to use it. Let's see all these Indian people watching at work, helping construct these aqueducts. And it's like, well, what's the point of this? We're just going to keep shitting in the streets. You know, you could say that I'm being mean to Indians, but I don't know. Go there in any other sense that Alanis Morissette didn't go there. You know what I mean? Or the Beatles. You know, so the Beatles and Alanis Morissette can walk away from India. It's like, oh, what an awesome place. You get 5-star treatment the whole way. Sorry, you haven't been to India. I haven't been in India, but I understand. Go look for videos of India. You can find some of them eating poop. Literally eating poop in a religious ceremony. But the culture is so bloody fascinating. Okay. I'll do a movie review real quick. I saw the title of this movie and I said, I'm watching it. Hands down. It's called Popeye's Revenge. 2025 movie. Pretty new. And when I clicked on it, I saw this picture. I'm like, oh yeah, I made the right choice. So it's a horror movie where Popeye is a killer. And let me ask you something about horror movies. What does a horror movie need to be good? Sure, innovation in terms of making a horror movie is always good. That leads to like legendary horror movies that change the industry. But your average run-of-the-mill, you know, not really breaking new ground in terms of cinematic history, you know, there's a formula, right? What do you think?
Creative fear of the unrealistic.
Creative fear of the unrealistic? Okay, sure. Absolutely. And they do that with Popeye. Well, and one of my complaints about this movie is there's no talking. Like, Popeye doesn't say a thing, which, you know, a little bit of that would have been fun. You know, just in the darkness. And so they turned Popeye into this deranged killer. It has like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing. And there's a lot of derivative elements of this, except with a celebrity makeover, which was Popeye, which I guess is public domain now. So, there's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. So, you know, so they made him this horrible killer with a slightly nautical theme. I would have made him like a crazy sailor who, you know, killed people, or I don't know. That's just me. But there's certain elements that you need to have in a movie, a horror movie, B-horror movie, in order for it to be good. One, you need a slew of hot chicks in skimpy outfits. And you got that. And like I said, I'm in my, no longer want to play with G.I. Joes. I want to get laid. So I appreciate that. So you're going to need a slew of scantily clad hot chicks, even if their accents are kind of difficult to muddle through. It's a British movie. And so we appreciate that. There's some very poorly acted simulated sex. And bad acting is always fun in a B movie. And so I appreciate that as well. That's also an element. You also need some gruesome deaths, and you do get that in a horror movie. I don't know. I don't really judge gore levels. It wasn't super gory. I don't know. Like EK probably wouldn't like it because it's gory enough for him.
I don't like gore at all.
He doesn't like gore.
The more unrealistic the gore, the easier it is for me to take.
The gore does look kind of realistic, but the absurdity of it being Popeye doing this kind of takes you out of it anyway. So, and plus there's tons of little things. Like, I was like halfway through the movie and there's this one scene where I decided, and I took out my notebook and I said, I'm reviewing this movie, period. And it's a scene where, like, you know that Popeye's in the building, right? And he's looking for the kids. And the kids are like, what's going on? I don't know. And then this empty can of spinach rolls in. And they're like, what is that? They shine their flashlights. What is that? I don't know. And then Popeye shows up and and I laugh hard like that. And
do you hear the music?
Huh?
Do you hear the Popeye theme?
No, they probably couldn't use the music. You know, that's probably newer. You know what I mean? Not necessarily public domain. The IP is public domain, not like the music. Like, for example, you can't use Robin Williams clips. You know, rest his soul. And gruesome deaths, absurd, like, you know, kind of a cookie cutter killer background with like I said, celebrity makeover, and a slew of hot chicks dying gruesome deaths. So all the proper elements for a good B horror movie. And B horror movies should make you laugh, because you can't take it too seriously. Like, Evil Dead 1 and 2, like the first Evil Dead movies, the only ones I like. I've argued with so many people about this. It's like, you don't like Army of Darkness? And it's like, no. You don't like the show? No. I like the first one and the second one because they knew they were shitty movies.
The second one is the first one again.
Yeah, it was kind of the first one again, a little bit expanded upon. And they knew they were shitty movies, and so they just had fun with it, you know? But in Army of Darkness, they started taking themselves seriously. They got green screens, they got the little miniature ashes and stuff like that. And it's just like, you're starting to take yourselves too seriously, I'm out. And so that's why I give this movie 6 of 13 stars for a B movie.
Which is good for a B movie?
Which is good for a B movie. And that's kind of my point, is like, if it was innovative in the way like they did some shots or something like that, I could push it up to 7 or 8. But because it's kind of a cookie cutter plot in many ways, it's just a standard formulaic horror movie. But that's pretty good because it was entertaining, even though it was quite predictable. And but it was fun. Anyway, let's get to the news worth knowing. So you haven't seen it, huh? All right. Let's start with this first news article. We got anyone watching? Let me just, nope, just me. All right, hold on. Rodney King riots officer says LA mayor acted too late as anti-ICE violence engulfs city. That is terrible. Can you do something about that, EK?
How's this?
Rodney, riot, Redux, retired officer rips response to rampage. Much better. You know, Peter D'Abroska, EK's better at this than you. Headline is terrible. But let's talk about the biggest issue today is the riots that are taking place in Los Angeles. Former LA Police Department detective who was on the force during the 92 Rodney King riot said that Democratic Mayor Karen Bass was too late in calling for law and order to be restored as riots broke out in the city this week. President Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles as anti-ICE violence escalated over the weekend, prompting pushback from Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom. On Monday, U.S. Northern Command announced that 700 Marines would be sent to the greater Los Angeles area to help protect federal property and agents. 700, that's a lot of ground for 700 Marines. LA's big, I don't know if you know that. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell said on Tuesday that his department made 197 arrests, with 130 of those occurring near Commercial and Alameda, and the other 67 occurring at protesters occupied the 101 freeway. LAPD said it arrested 96 people overnight Monday during protests in the downtown area. Charges include assault with deadly weapon on police officer, failure to disperse, and looting and arson. One person arrested for attempted murder with a Molotov cocktail. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Chinks. You owe me a Coke. Police have used tear gas to attempt to disperse protesters. Numerous businessmen in the Los Angeles area were also looted. The big news there is that there's still businesses in the Los Angeles area. Moses Castillo, a former LAPD detective, told Fox News Digital that Bass was too late in calling for order to be restored. She's now trying to play catch-up, Castillo said. I think if she had been very more forceful in the beginning, that we're not going to tolerate these crimes and allow police officers to do their job and arrest people on site, I think it would have been different. Instead, now she's saying it's now that these crimes will not be tolerated, looting will not be tolerated, but it's a little bit too late. Fox News Digital reached out to Bass's office. That's all you're saying about that. Castillo said that he thinks both sides are using violent protests to attack each other, saying something he says need to stop. So he's trying to be impartial as well. I believe that both sides, the president, Gavin Newsom, are using the media waves to attack one another, Castillo said. To me, that's like going back to high school. Really? Yes. And they want it, and I think they wanted to do is come to the table. Let's have a face-to-face, have a meeting, hash out the issues, find solutions. Okay, whatever. He's trying to be too politic here. He's still an LA cop. He's liberal. And unfortunately, these are the fruits of liberalism. Is riots, it's anarchy, it's theft, it's violence. It's where it all leads. Because liberalism is communism in many ways. And as soon as we've been not enforcing the law for so long that people are like shitting a brick and rioting because, oh my God, they're going to enforce the law. Yeah, we always should have been. And sorry, we haven't been getting around to it lately, but it needs to be done, you know? And I'm so sick of these people like defending these illegal immigrants. You know, I know legal immigrants, and I cannot, the amount of money and time and effort they had to go through to jump through all these hoops to become legal citizens in this country. Every single illegal immigrant in this country spits in the face of those people. They also spit in the face of natural-born citizens. And I don't know if we should get rid of that. That's a tricky thing to talk about. But the results of liberalism is basically communism. And so this is what you're going to get. You're going to get anarchy. You're going to get chaos. You're going to get people starving. You got something to say, EK? You're real chipper today.
I'm not against natural-born citizenship.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day, I think.
Because if you come into the country legally,
right,
and then have a baby here.
But that's the point. See, people coming in illegally and then dropping a baby, and that baby's legal.
I'm all for it.
I am too. But that's the issue, is that the illegal immigrants, we need to get them out. You know? It's so, LA has been captured, obviously, for a long time. Speaking of Rodney King, that's another screw-up LA did. You know? Rodney King was running from the police. You know, it was arguing, a big chase ensued. I know everyone only talks about the last couple seconds with the clubs. You know, chasing, police chased him. He laughed off tasers, argued and fought with police, and eventually, you know, they had to use the Patron. And they're like, oh, it's so horrible. And then people started rioting. And then the guy himself, Rodney King, the criminal, says, can't we all just get along? And then people repeated that. Because, I mean, he saw how this thing spun out of control. His actions caused the whole thing to spin out of control. LA handled it poorly when it came to those riots as well. They let it happen. And it's the same thing in 2020 when all the BLM and Antifa stuff, they let it happen. Now, I would like a little bit of justice in the United States. Unfortunately, because we let things go on so long, you know, it's going to hurt. It's going to mean, you know, faces on pavement. Metal on wrists. Bars between us. You know what I mean? And you don't need to arrest everybody. Just start arresting people. They will fucking stop. It's just like when a bunch of people rush into your 7-Eleven, you don't need to shoot all of them. Shoot one or two of them. The rest will get the picture. It's like I've been saying for weeks, you know. Bring back justice. I miss that motherfucker. All right, I have like a opinion piece here for a placeholder for this topic. But as you know, it's like Trump and Musk's unexpected truce. They've been trading barbs over Twitter publicly lately. And this opinion article gives someone else's opinion. I'm not doing that. I'm giving you my opinion. So these guys have been trading barbs, insulting each other in public on Twitter and social media and so forth. And I find it to be very immature. I don't want to get into the details of what they say to each other. Bros argue. Bros fight. But if EK and I have a disagreement, we're not taking it to Facebook. I would hope not, right?
Nope, we're taking it to the ring in SummerSlam.
We're wrestling for it. We're oiling ourselves up and going to the ring. But it's something that would be private, you know? And we would handle off air. Because it's a disagreement, and that's how professionals deal with a problem like that, like a personality conflict. You don't start insulting somebody on Twitter and so forth. And so I find that to be childish, immature, and stupid for supposedly one of the smartest people in the country. I'm talking about Trump. And bros fight. They have disagreements and stuff like that. And this was going on, and then this stuff in LA started kicking off. And I think they said, we got bigger problems. We need to put this aside, you know. And I think that's big of them, and you know, that's how men are. But men don't get on social media and say stuff like, "Hey, you were at Epstein Island, and I know it." You know who does that? Women do that. Okay, they bring up old shit. When at the core of this argument is a difference in view between the situation. Elon Musk's perspective is that he spent the last 3 or 4 months trying to cut billions out of waste out of the government, running into all sorts of issues trying to do so. You'd think he would have learned something. But then Trump's pushing this big, beautiful bill, which involves trillions upon trillions of dollars. And Elon Musk is like, what the hell was I even doing here if you're just going to spend 800 times more than I've just saved? And I think Ben Shapiro's analysis is correct that, Elon Musk is being an idealist and Trump is being a pragmatist. The government has to keep going. The government isn't a tech company. The government isn't Twitter. You can't just come in and start immediately trimming the fat because there's so much bureaucracy in government. Government is this leviathan, and you can't just kill it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just cut parts of it off. It's going to take hours upon hours of work, lots of blood, sweat, and tears just to get, trim it down a bit. The government's this horrible monster. It's not a tech company where you can just come in and start efficiently doing things. No, there's so much red tape, and that's why government needs to shrink. And to do that, you just can't come in and say, get rid of that, afuera. You can't just do that in a government. Some things you can, but you'll see it's like when Trump came in the first term, Trump came in and he's just started firing people, and then there's all sorts of headaches and wailing and gnashing of teeth. It was like, oh, you can't be doing all this. Same thing when Doge came in. Doge came in and started like, we're firing all these people. All these headaches and crying and whining them in the internet. It's like, oh, why don't I deserve a free government job? And lawsuits getting filed and stuff like that. And that's just like civilian employees. When you start talking about like government employees and cutting out bureaucratic agencies and so forth, there is so much money wasted that there are people who are like going to fight you. They're going to fight you tooth and nail every step of the way. And the simple fact of the matter is the government has to keep running while this happens, while this process is in place. Yes, keep a fire under your ass, Elon, about trimming the fat from the government and the spending and shrinking the size of government. Absolutely. But for now, the government has to keep going. Wow, I had a lot to say about that. Surprised myself. All right. Those are kind of heavy topics. I'm going to start like sliding into happier topics. What do you think? Judge rules in favor of Texas woman after SWAT destroyed her house while pursuing a fugitive. So 5 years after police destroyed cancer survivor Vicky Baker's house while pursuing a fugitive, a federal judge has ruled that the Texas city she used to call home must pay her for the damage. Quote, I've continued fighting this long because if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. But Baker told Fox News Digital in an emailed statement. This case has always been more about money for me. Been about more than the money for me, excuse me. I want to see real change. Baker's ordeal started in July 2020 when she moved to Montana and was in the process of selling her home in McKinney, Texas. Wesley Little kidnapped a 15-year-old girl, fled from police, and took refuge in Baker's home. Police surrounded the house, and Little eventually released the teen, but refused to surrender, according to court documents. A SWAT team had tried to draw him out by launching a barrage of tear gas canisters in the house, shattering windows and punching holes in walls. When police finally entered the house, they discovered that Little had killed himself. It's sad. Baker's daughter's Chihuahua was inside during the onslaught and was left blind, deaf, and sick from the tear gas and explosions. Dog eventually had to be put down. Baker said, damn it. Feels. Damn these feels. Hazmat crew disposed of almost everything inside the house because it was saturated with toxic film from the tear gas. Oh my God, according to court documents. Damage to the home totaled at least $50,000, according to Baker and her attorneys at the nonprofit Civil Liberties law firm Institute for Justice. But her insurance company refused to cover the bulk of the damage because her policy, like most, excludes damage caused by the government. Baker tried to file a property damage claim with the city of McKinney, but officials refused to pay, citing qualified immunity. doctrine that's often used to shield police officers and other government agencies from being sued for violating people's rights or destroying property during the course of their work. The Institute for Justice sued under the Fifth Amendment and the Texas Constitution, arguing that police may have been authorized to seize Baker's home in the interest of pursuing the dangerous fugitive, but they should pay her just like they would if the government seized a home to build a road and other infrastructure. Seems logical to me, you know? Frankly, I'm surprised it took this long for a Texas town, you know? And here's the thing, when it comes to like pursuing a criminal, you know, people say like the cops like these days, they will stop a pursuit. You know, someone's doing something on the highway and they won't chase them anymore. And the reason they won't do that is because like they don't want to cause any more damage or hurting more lives. And you chase a guy on the highway, and he may wreck out and crash into a family of 6 in a car or something like that. And it's just like, you know, if you're committing a crime, you know, it's all on you. You know, if the police have to kick down the door of someone else's house to get to a criminal that's been hiding out in this house, you know, I think that the person who owns a house is entitled to some money. I mean, I understand you're trying to get this criminal out of our society, but, you know, who's going to fix my fucking door? You know, even if you had a group, like if the cops, like the SWAT team, for example, like the overzealous SWAT team, because, you know, a lot of those guys are like real, like G.I. Joe kind of guys, you know. Like they get into the van, it's like, oh, we finally got called for SWAT duty. And they jump in the van, they're all pumped up, and they're like, yeah. Just like Bill Paxton from Aliens is like, don't worry, Ripley, me and my team of ultimate badasses will protect you. You know what I mean? And they get all pumped up, you know, and banging each other on the helmet and stuff like that. Oh, we've got the order to put the tear gas in. They're all breaking windows. Yeah, this is so exciting. It could be reckless testosterone, but I think I'm okay with that, especially if you allow that energy to be focused at bad guys. I'm okay with it. But if your SWAT team is chasing a criminal through the suburbs and crashes through your garage and destroys it, and they're at the same time they're screaming, "This is awesome!" The city should compensate them. It's work that has to be done, and it's damage that needs to be fixed. Anyway. All right, I'm starting to... Dead dog really threw me off. Let's talk about other things. Like, I'm scared of bison. This is almost like things I'm scared of. So, Yellowstone tourist gored by bison after group of visitors approached it too closely. Yeah. Approached it too closely. Some of these headlines will get to be paragraphs, I tell you. Can you fix that one? I don't know if you're ready. Yeah. Excuse me. A New Jersey tourist was gored by a bison at the Yellowstone National Park after a large group of visitors approached the animal too closely, officials said. 30-year-old man from Randolph was struck around 9:45 a.m. Tuesday in the Upper Geyser Basin at Old Faithful, according to the National Park Service. The individual sustained minor injuries and was treated and transported by emergency medical personnel. The incident was the second time this year a person has been injured by a bison at Yellowstone. The first incident was on May 4th. A 47-year-old tourist from Cape Coral, Florida, was gored by a bison after he approached it too closely in the Lake Village area, the NPS says. The man suffered minor injuries as well. Park officials said that wild animals can be aggressive if people don't respect their space. You don't say. It's one of those things we...
Did the tourist die?
No. Minor injuries.
Okay. I have one.
Okay, what do you got?
From selfie to stretcher, tourist gored after group gets grabby.
Still a little long.
Bison beats back brazen bystanders.
Bison beats back brazen bystanders? That works. Thank you, sir. He loves doing that. And he went on to say, it is your responsibility to stay more than 25 yards away from large animals, bison, elk, bighorn sheep, deer, moose, coyotes, at least 100 yards away from bears, wolves, and cougars. 100 yards is good for all of them, you know. He went on to say, if wildlife approach you, move away and always maintain these safe viewing distances. The NPS continued. Bison will defend their space when threatened and have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other animal. They are unpredictable and can run 3 times faster than humans, which is insane. When you see like a bison, you're like, there's no way that can run 3 times faster than me. Come on, fat ass Horatio. Like, holy cow, you're fast. The NPS added that there were 2 reported incidents of people being injured by bison at Yellowstone in 2024 and 1 in 2023. Quit messing with the bison. So I was thinking, it's like anything greater, equal to or greater than horses pretty much scares me. Like elephant, moose, bison. 3 times faster than humans. Hey, we got some stock footage of bison. Nice. Let's talk about an unhappy cow. I was reading the story before the show, and I was like, this is not really a story. But for some reason, like, cows don't pop up on my radar, fear radar. I don't know. I think it's because they're so dumb. Deceptively dumb, maybe. So an unhappy cow sends a Texas rancher flying to the hospital in an airlift rescue after unexpected attack. Oh, you're never living that one down, buddy. A Leon County, Texas rancher was airlifted to a hospital, and another person was taken by ambulance after being attacked by what officials call an unhappy cow. So 2 people got run over by a pissed off cow. That sounds better than a happy cow, unhappy cow. Sometimes pissed off works better than unhappy. You know? All right, in a post on Facebook, Leon County Emergency Management said AirMed 12N picked up an injured rancher who had been attacked by an unhappy cow, quote unquote. Fox 26 in Houston reported the EMS reported at about 9 a.m. in the area, which is located nearly 90 miles east of Waco, Texas, nearly halfway between Houston and Dallas. You're getting run over by a cow in the first thing in the morning. This sucks. Responding units included LCEM and other emergency medical crews from the area. Officials did not identify the people who were injured by the cow, nor did they disclose the severity of their injuries. The reason the cow became unhappy remains unknown. What are you going to ask him? Cow, why are you so angry? Oh. Get Dr. Jordan Peterson down there. Figure it out, Doc. It's like that scene in Always Sunny when he gets that bird expert to come in and he tries to get the bird expert to talk to the bird. It's like, you really don't get this. Charlie logic. You know, this is not the first time this animal has turned on its caretaker. Oh, April 2022. They're just talking about animals in general. Irish man was attacked by a rooster. With a history of attacking people. I've been attacked by a rooster. Have you? You ever been attacked by a rooster?
I can remember.
Punched him in his head and he left me alone. Irish Examiner in Cork, Ireland reported that Jasper Krause was allegedly attacked by a Brahma chicken that had moved to his property in Ballinsloe after it attacked a child. During a judicial inquiry into the matter, Garda Eoin Brown said he responded to reports of a sudden death on April 28, 2022, and when he arrived, he spoke to paramedics who said CPR attempts to revive the victim were unsuccessful. Krause is in the kitchen and on the ground in a pool of blood when Brown arrived and appeared to be suffering from a single wound on the back of one of his legs. Krause's daughter said that during the inquiry, she realized the rooster must have caused her father's death after she saw blood on his claws. She also revealed that same rooster had previously attacked her daughter. Murderous rooster. Corey O'Keefe, tenant at the Krause's house, was questioned about the incident and said he returned home from work around 8 a.m. that morning, fed the animals, and asked Krause how he was doing before heading off to bed. A little while later, O'Keefe reported, Krause was screaming for help. When O'Keefe went out to see what was wrong, he saw blood spurting from a large wound on the back of his calf, along with 2 other scratches. Oh, my God. The victim went in and out of consciousness, O'Keefe reportedly said. At one point, he said the word rooster. Krause was ultimately pronounced dead at the scene. The coroner recorded Krause's death as misadventure or an accident, describing the incident as a dreadful experience for the family. You don't say! Killer rooster? Excuse me? That's a horror movie right there. Oh my God. This article took a strange turn, and now I'm scared of chickens now. Roosters. I guess chickens could do it too. What did you do to that rooster to piss him off like that anyway? Sometimes it's just ornery, you know. The one that chased me was ornery. Yeah, punched him in the stupid head. You learned. All right, let's do this last story, and just to make us feel better about ourselves intellectually. Walmart customer calls cops on himself after self-checkout avocado mishap. On Reddit, a post reveals that customer accused the store of robbing him after his own input mistake. See, this is why we need to get rid of these self-checkouts. Number one is like people are skip scanning. Number two, some people are too dumb to work the thing. All right, a Walmart employee claimed a customer called the police after he, the customer, accidentally overcharged himself for avocados at the self-checkout kiosk, then accused the store of robbing him. The unusual incident was documented on a Reddit page dedicated to all things Walmart. User Lore Archivist wrote about the confrontation, prompting others to share their own odd self-checkout interactions. Hold on. As Lore Archivist told the story, a man came up with a bunch of stuff, claimed an item on the shelf, and that was priced at $9.99 and showing up in the register as $19.99. Reddit writer said that Walmart team leader was able to get it fixed for the man. However, it happened again with item after item that couldn't be charged, Lord Archivist said. I'm going to stop saying his name. Then he had avocados. This is the one. I guess he accidentally hit 999 avocados instead of the 9 he intended, and his total jumped to over $1,300. That's when the customer freaked out and started yelling, stating that he was calling the cops because Walmart was robbing him. The writer said. The customer called 911. The police showed up. This dude created a whole circus. It shows everyone the self-checkout screen, again claiming Walmart was robbing him. Walmart employees tried to appease the customer, but he still wouldn't shut up. The customer was warned that he needed to leave or would be arrested for trespassing, but the man refused to go unless Walmart compensated for pain and suffering and distress. Eventually, his own cops that he called put him in handcuffs and took him outside. You arrested me, I called you. Fox News Digital reached out to Walmart for comment. Of course, no answer. Several Redditors similar, blah, blah, blah. You know, you hadn't even paid yet. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't you just hit cancel transaction? And there's no threat of robbery all of a sudden? You know, some people are just too stupid for this stuff. You know, that's why you need real people on real registers. You know, because jackass is going to get himself arrested because he can't understand the computer. You know what I mean? And in this world, you know, it is something you need to be prepared for. In this world, you need to understand that there are some people. I'll put it this way. You cannot underestimate the stupidity of some people. It makes for amazing entertainment for people like you and I suppose. But it wasn't pleasant for the people in Walmart that day. See what I'm saying? It wasn't pleasant for the cops that had to be called out because some jackass didn't know how to work a computer. Sucks for the taxpayers have to pay, well, they're going to pay a salary anyway. Have to, waste money on this. You've got to go to court with all of that. You're a drain on society. You can't underestimate how stupid people can be. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again to go to our Patreon, patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. You can send me money through Cash App. You send me $1 or more. Send me your address as well. Type in your address when you send me a note. Send me some money. Send me your address, and I'll ship out a little sticker pack for you. Follow me on social media over here at DNALETSAW on Twitter. That's the word Wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. And at SLRobbins13 on the Instagram. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.